All right, VR Space Crew, this is the one we've been waiting for. Elite Dangerous, Pimax Crystal Light, and the Quest 3. My goodness, that game looks stellar. It's just amazing. Honestly, I just can't believe how good it's playing, especially with the 5090. But also, we've thrown in Noman Sky. We had a few crew commenting over the last few weeks on the benchmarking videos I've been putting out, asking if I'll do Noman Sky. That's been an itch I've wanted to scratch for a while. I've seen the updates coming out. I've always seen people commenting on that game's development and how it's evolved over the years and come from something terrible to something quite incredible, actually. And I downloaded it, and what an impressive game. But there's definitely something weird going on with the DLSS there. Ironically, I was in some cases getting better performance with TAA. I guess that's kind of a good thing because TAA, for the most part, does look better. But with DLSS 4 now, really we should be getting similar quality, if not the same, for a benefit in performance. But I just really didn't yield that. So if anyone knows what's going on there, let me know. But I reran some of those tests so many times to validate my result. It wasn't funny. Anyway, Elite Dangerous, my goodness, what an epic uplift. But a couple of things I want to discuss first. I am running Opencomposite. If you don't know what Opencomposite is, I might do a deep dive video in the future showing people how to get that working, because with all this hoo-ha going on about the 4090 and the 5090 shortages and all that craziness, the biggest uplift you can get right now today is if you go from Steam VR and use Opencomposite or OpenXR. It is massive. To give you an example, we can get anywhere from 20 FPS in Elite Dangerous just by scrapping Steam VR. So all of these benchmarks are using Opencomposite, and what that also means is I'm able to lean on the super sampling in virtual desktop. Normally you can only go as far as godlike, but using Opencomposite and then being able to use the OpenXR toolkit inside VR, you can actually super sample that resolution even higher. So for Elite Dangerous specifically, I am super sampling to 122%. I've put what that resolution is in the charts, but for Noman Sky, I've left it at 100%, which is godlike. And again, I've put what those resolutions are in the charts. Now, the reason for doing it in Elite Dangerous, anyone who's played that game knows that the aliasing is terrible. And I believe with the Quest 3, 122%, which is pushing it to around 3,700 by 3,700 pixels per eye, is the sweet spot. Otherwise, it's just not worth playing in my book. So Opencomposite is where you want to be. That is an immediate uplift. So forget getting a 5090. You will have a massive frame uplift just by switching that particular, I guess, protocol for being able to run the games. Now, let's also discuss something else. Let's discuss DLSS. Now, that was interesting because in Noman Sky, the results were strange. In some cases, man, it's almost worse. So there was definitely something strange going on there. I reran those tests multiple times to validate my results. So if anyone knows what's going on, please chime in. I tried all sorts of stuff, and it just seemed like DLSS was acting weird. But TAA was amazing. I was really blown away, and my goodness, that game looks absolutely stunning in the Pimax Crystal Light. But for those of you that don't have an RTX4090, if you can get your hands on one, hopefully these results will show you that there is some gains to be had, even with the 4090. People have been commenting that Noman Sky is a real hard game to play with the hardware, but with my 4090, man, I was breezing it in. So that's still something to consider if you can get your hands on one of those cards. Now, let's get into the benchmarking results. All right, Elite Dangerous. In the Pimax Crystal Light, 34.2% uplift. It is absolutely night and day. And that equates to a 20.5 FPS uplift. It is absolutely crazy. I'm just blown away at how amazing that is. Quest 3, 35.6% uplift. That equates to 24.5 FPS. And again, we're running it at 122% in virtual desktop, which is about 3,700 by 3,700 per eye. So we're super sampling it, and it looks just crystal clear, man. It's so good. Okay, Noman Sky, Pimax, 53.5% uplift. That's huge with the Pimax Crystal. 31.4 FPS is what that equates to. But here's the real shocker. Noman Sky really didn't yield much benefit from going from the 4090 to the 5090 at those lower resolutions. The Quest 3 only had a 13.2% FPS uplift. That's why I say, if games like Noman Sky are really your jam, you might benefit from getting a more powerful card that you've currently got, but not necessarily having to step up to these cards that we can't get at the moment, but really expensive cards like the 5090. And another massive thank you goes out to Steve from Hardware Unboxed. These benchmarks would not be possible without their support. They have lent me the RTX5090 OC Supreme to do these benchmarks. So really grateful for their support and for letting us use this card to bring you these epic results. So let's get into the benchmarking. Noman Sky, Elite Dangerous, Pimax Crystal Light, and the Quest 3 RTX 4090 versus 5090. Let's go. Really interesting results there. Definitely some frame timing issues like Omni whatever has been touching on. If you haven't seen his most recent video, I'll put a link to that up the top here. Well worth watching. But I've got to be honest, frame timings aside, that extra FPS in the Pimax Crystal Light, whew, man, it is buttery smooth and I am loving it. I'll see you in the next video.